back, skis, another week. On Corin's World, Kyle is always so gracious to bless us with his presence here. We're going to rock out with Kyle and Corin over here. Kyle, we were just talking about TikTok. I don't even have it on my phone. Molly is like very good at understanding how it works. And we were kind of like just talking through how there has to be like some controversial topic where you can pick a side, and that's like the stuff that usually goes viral on TikTok.
Yeah, so Crystal does it, and she started it how long ago now? Maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And she likes it. She likes it a lot, and she feels like it's a good medium to get like her message across. She thinks I should do it too. I just feel like I feel like I spend so much time doing my work stuff anyway that like it just feels difficult to add a new thing.
Yeah.
And if I'm also thinking about TikToks on top of YouTube videos, that seems a little much. But I mean, at the same time, it's also, I feel like I'd do good at it if I did it. But you know, it's like a whole new, you're opening Pandora's box if you do it. But that's where all the kids are, man. That's where all the younger people are.
Yep.
You know, I was looking at my audience. My audience is like, it's not as many younger people as I thought anymore.
Oh, really?
It's more like, it really is millennials for the most part. Like, it's mostly millennials.
I feel like that's a good, that's who you want. I feel like any younger, like I've listened to younger than millennials. I don't know what it is. Gen X?
Gen Z. Gen Z.
And some of the conversations I've heard is literally, they sound like surfer bros, and it's just like that, like stereotypical, like, yo, whoa.
Oh, we got to wake the kids up, man. We got to wake the kids up. Like, the kids got to know what the deal is with politics.
I know.
You know?
But
and I have some Gen Z in my audience. I also have some Gen X and some Boomer, and maybe even a handful of Silent. But like most of my audience are millennials.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And so, well, one, was it hard for her to download TikTok? Because wasn't Tip Top was didn't they put a ban to like downloading it here in the US or something like that?
So she did it before the ban.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it was like a week before the ban or something.
Okay.
She did it, and then the ban, they sort of backed off of it, and it looks like they're going to back off of it again. They're trying to find like a new somebody to sell it to or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like that's
think
been happening for a while.
Now Trump thinks that TikTok helped him win. And so now he's like, yeah, it's fine. He also took a lot of money from the people that own TikTok, and so I don't think he's gonna ban it.
Well, that's one thing I found interesting. And one thing I'll say too is that like if you're not using your name and likeness on TikTok and Instagram, there's a shit ton of people that are, and like people love kind of your takes on just whatever, whether it's politics or on Corin's World. Molly runs the TikTok, and she posted a clip from your this or that with the hill that you like would never die on, and it was like when you pull out of a street, or if someone pulls out in front of you, like go the same speed as traffic or something, and people like fucked with it. So you have really good like takes that people like. So if you don't use it, I'm gonna post it and use it. So you should get on and start using it.
Well, you have my permission to take whatever clips from here and post them on TikTok.
Yeah, because I mean, OG, for the people that don't know, like there was a guy on Instagram that had the account like Kyle Kulinski who was posting stuff, and for a minute it looked like it was like him. And it got to a point where I think I even messaged him and was like, dude, at least if you're gonna post some stuff, like put like that this is a parody account, or like not Kyle. Even Tiger Woods, when he tweets, I think he says like the actual tweets from me have TW on the bottom or something like that. So it's just a courtesy.
So you know what happened with that Instagram thing?
No, what happened?
Somebody was pretending to be me.
Oh,
right?
They actually were.
And they were messaging some women, some girls.
Oh.
And they were straight up asking for like titty pictures and ass pictures. And so one time on Twitter, this like somewhat political girl who's like like sort of a small level content creator.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to do some call out shit on me and say like he's asking for this and that. And then what happened was, shout out to Mike Figueredo from the Humanist Report, because what he did is he remembered me saying on Kyle and Corin that I don't have an Instagram.
Yep.
The person running that is not fucking me. So don't fuck it. Like, it's not me, and I don't want Instagram, and I never had Instagram, and I don't want Instagram. And so he went back and found that clip, which was like years old at the time. And then he immediately like responded to that woman and posted that and was like, "You're fucking lying. You got duped by somebody who was pretending to be Kyle." And so now I went from being super easygoing about like, oh, if somebody wants to do a fan account, this and that, like it's totally cool. I got no problem with it. I went from that end of the spectrum to after that. Now I'm like,
Take it all
I
down.
almost don't want anybody doing fan shit because if they pretend to be me and then they try to like take advantage of people, that shit is so fucked up, man.
Yeah, I mean, you see that a lot with celebrities, where they're constantly putting out like a picture of like a weary message, and it's like a screenshot from a DM, and it's like, if you get this, this is not me. So it's crazy because I mean, like at their level, and this is something that I was just watching your video on Elon Musk. And he was talking, it was like all of Rogan's friends kind of like starting to shit on him and piling on. And
Yes.
I think it was like Kyle Dunnigan or someone, or maybe it's
Yep.
the other, the bald head guy, whatever, was saying like, I don't know how he has the time to respond to everybody or see everything. You know, like I have whatever, 8,000 followers, and like I get like 14 comments, and I'm at a point where I'm like, yeah, I don't even want to read all of these sometimes and like respond. Like, so I can't even imagine a celebrity or someone like yourself having to like seek that stuff out and find it, because it's probably like widespread for like for a celebrity to have someone somewhere DMing people off of Bozo account, you know?
Yeah, and it's like people gotta be smart enough to know like this is probably not
Yeah.
that person.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And unfortunately they're not. Like there's a lot of people
I
who get
know.
emails and they're just scams and they'll just fall for that shit immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they'll just fall for it.
Some of them, so I feel like I've become a good detective of like seeking out what's fake and what's real. I won't respond to anything, but like I've been getting, so I go across like the Tappan Zee Bridge a lot because I'm in Rockland County, so I'll go to Westchester and you got to use the Easy Pass. And occasionally I'll get like a text. It comes from a weird like email address, and it's like DMV Easy Pass, blah 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 blah. So I'm always like, this is fake because it's from this crazy email address, and it's got no like information, no number to call, no like, doesn't have my name or anything on it. But there's like 5% of me that's like, yo, if I get pulled over, I might get arrested because of that Easy Pass shit. That one guy. Like, so like,
Nah, your instinct is right, bro. It's always fake. It's always fake. Everything's fake.
I know.
That's like literally internet literacy 101. Like, and Gen Z needs to be taught this, and boomers and silent generation need to be taught this. Literally, internet literacy is everything is fake.
Yeah.
Nothing is real. Anything you get that, oh, maybe this is this. No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
You're not late on your bill. There's no problem with your Easy Pass.
Yeah.
Like none of that. No, you don't need to re-log into Amazon through this weary email you got. Like none of this shit is real, dog. And that's what like, and it happens a lot, bro. Like I know Gen Z, they're an internet generation, but even they keep getting got. Like they don't realize. Like I feel like our generation is the one that really knows. Like no, nothing is real.
I feel like
Everything
this
is fake. Everybody's trying to scam you.
There's a spectrum of like super old people that get got easily, like the ones that are still hanging around on Facebook, still getting like access to their emails. Those people are going to get got 100%. Then there's that middle crew. We're like what are we, Gen? Would you say we're Gen?
We're millennials.
Millennials.
We're millennials.
We're like,
yeah.
we understand it, we get it, and like we're like, yo, you're an idiot if you click that link. Then the newer kids are back in the same like kind of brain level as the old ass people, where they kind of model them where they're not good drivers, they're not smart. Like it's weird because they're really good technology on like some stuff, but then other stuff where you're like, yo, why would you clearly click this like Chase Bank thing that's so obviously fake? But then they could turn around and like turn your laptop into like a transformer, like little mini robot car or something. Like this, the like dynamic is kind of weird in that sense.
Yeah, and I think the reason why they're like that is because it's all about high trust versus low trust. So the older people, they really like trust the system and trust the country, and so they have high trust in everything. So when they see an email that says it's from a Nigerian prince, they're like, "Oh, a Nigerian prince reached out to me." And the young kids, they're too young to have low trust in society because they're young and they haven't experienced all the shit that like we've experienced.
Yep.
And so they have high trust sort of as a default. Like, oh, what do you mean? Like, yeah, we have a functioning country. Like, I got friends, I got family. Like, everything's good. Like, I have high trust in the system. And so when they get an email from Chase Bank, they're like, I guess I got an email from Chase Bank. Whereas our generation, like, uniquely the most fucked in a way, because think of all the shit we had to see. We had to see fucking 9/11 growing up. We had to see
Go through the
the
Iraq War,
subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession and the Iraq War and Trump win twice and like everything we've seen, and we're like, bro, the system doesn't give a fuck about us. Nobody gives a fuck about us. Nobody's coming to save us. Everything's fucking bullshit. And so we have low trust in the system. So anything we see, our default reaction is like, fuck off. Like, this is not real.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think it has to do with life experience, right? Like, the boomers remember a time back when everything was relatively chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they remember a time, like, post-Civil Rights Act, post the New Deal, where it was kind of like a thriving country for a hot minute there, where everybody had good paying jobs and we had higher taxes on the rich and shit was like a lot more solid. And then they're still holding on to that, right? Like, their nostalgia for that time, but like, it's so dead and gone, bro. Like, the fucking president is running crypto scams. Like, it's a wrap. This country is cooked, dog.
What are your thoughts on the White House, like, Twitter account has kind of turned into just like a bro, like, it's like everything they post is kind of just like, their tone is like super aggressive, all caps, like FU mentality, and it's like, that's the official White House account. And like, to me, it's just crazy because like, you grow up and you think that these accounts are going to be just like very like punctuation is
Right.
going to be
Proper.
on point. Yeah, like proper. And it's just turned into like all caps. Like, look, we changed the Obama portrait at the White House to this Trump portrait. Like, it's crazy.
And you know the crazy thing is, bro? That's it. Like, we're not going back.
I know.
There's no going back. There's not going to be another time in our lifetimes where it's like a professional ass sounding person and team in the White House.
Yeah.
Because now the fact of the matter is Trump broke the system completely. And so now Democrats are learning, like, yo, we don't have a choice. Like, we also got to be massive assholes, and we also got to be like pithy on social media and
Putting
like go at
memes up
people's
and
throats
stuff.
and shit
Yeah.
and put memes up and shit. And there's no going back. Like, now this is what it is. This is what politics is now. And look, on the one hand, I'm happy that the Democrats learned the lesson and are like, okay, this is how we win. We got to be like this too. But on the other hand, yeah, there's something to be said about losing the idea that, hey, maybe there's some serious people at the top who are taking care of the problems and working on the issues and trying to make everything better. It's like, now that illusion is gone. Bro.
Yeah.
This is not even close.
Yeah.
Like, the people in the White House are just like all self-obsessed careerists trying to make money and trying to get as far as they can. And some of them, like, now they're just fucking fascists. Just packed in the White House are fascists. Did you see the shit that happened today? I don't know when you're going to release this, but
Probably Wednesday.
Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador,
Yeah, he went there.
he went to the White House. And this is the place where Trump has been rounding people up and sending them to his prison, which is basically a slave labor camp.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court had to weigh in and be like, look, this was an innocent dude that you got. You have to facilitate his return. That's what they said.
Mm-hmm.
9-0. 9-0. Even if fucking Clarence Thomas agreed. And what happened? They're sitting in the White House, and Bukele's like, I'm not fucking bringing him back. I'm not going to do that. That's not on me. And then Trump's like, I'm not fucking
Keeping him here.
He's like, there's nothing we can do. It's on President Bukele. And President Bukele's like, I'm not doing shit. And so the Supreme Court says, facilitate this guy's return. And then they're flagrantly in violation of a Supreme Court order. And they're saying, we are going to permanently keep this innocent man locked up in this slave labor camp. Like, I don't think people realize, bro, it's a wrap. It's over. It's done. If they could do that to that dude, they could do that to any dude, anybody.
So they're just,
citizen, non-citizen, they could just disappear people now.
so they're just straight ignoring, like, because I saw that like kind of clip, and I saw the bald dude, was it Stephen Miller or something like that?
That dude's a straight up Nazi, bro.
Well,
that dude is a straight up Nazi.
And the way that he was like so defensive of whatever he was like arguing for, and then Trump was like, Stephen, what was the thing? 9-0. And then he was like, for us, right? Like, wasn't it not for them?
It was not for them. It was not for them. What he's talking about is a lower court said you have to facilitate and effectuate the return of this guy. That's what the lower court said. And then the Supreme Court took the case and they said you have to facilitate the return, not effectuate, because that it gets into technical shit about like the judicial branch can't impose on foreign policy of the executive branch. So instead of saying you have to facilitate and effectuate his return, they say you just have to facilitate his return. In other words, what that means is pick up the phone, call your boy, and say, hey, dog, we made a mistake. Send that guy back. That's what they mean by that.
Yeah.
And he spins it and pretends like, no, they slapped down the lower court ruling, therefore they're on our side in it. And they're not at all on your side. Because again, even fucking Clarence Thomas, super duper duper conservative, was like, wait, you're just rounding people up now and sending them off with no hearing? They're literally arguing there's a loophole to due process because we could just, if we can send you out of the country before you can talk to your lawyer, before you can get a hearing, like if we send you out immediately right when we round you up, it's a wrap. You don't get due process because now you're not in the country anymore. You're overseas, so you don't have any more due process. You're in their custody now. So what they're arguing for is the world's most insane loophole where it would effectively legalize none of us having rights if they just arrest us and ship us to an El Salvador gulag immediately.
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy, bro.
So
that's crazy.
So what's the next step if like basically the president is kind of just not listening to what the Supreme Court says? Like,
so right now, the next step right now is to basically have the Supreme Court be more clear and say, now you're in violation of our court order. We're holding you in contempt of court
to Trump.
And to Trump or to Stephen Miller or to whoever, but somebody who's responsible for what went down there, right? And then once they say like you're in violation of a court order or we're holding you in contempt of court, a lower court already said that they're violating a court order, right? And so once that happens, then like the lines are drawn and it's like, are you going to fucking try to bring him back or not? And if they don't, then honestly, the only move you can make at that point is to impeach. I think he should already fucking be impeached because
he's probably done so much stuff that's impeachable.
It's just so, bro. This is so black and white. Like there is no gray area here. There is no nuance. They are flagrantly in violation of a court order. They're about to be in contempt of court. They're shipping innocent people to slave labor camps overseas, which is wildly, wildly illegal. And like, we're acting like this is okay. We're acting like, oh, all right, just let this go on. Like, I don't care if a single fucking Republican doesn't break ranks and vote with the Democrats on the impeachment. You still need to fucking impeach to get on the record.
Yeah.
And we're doing everything we can to try to protect the rule of law. And the other thing is, as soon as these motherfuckers are out of power, every single fucking one of them needs to be tried and needs to be locked up. Like, these are such criminal actions, it's ridiculous. It's basically kidnapping somebody and torturing them. They are kidnapping and torturing innocent people. They did a report. Anywhere between, the low number is 75% of the people that we sent to this place are innocent. The high number is 90% of the people we sent are innocent. So they sent over 230 people to this slave labor gulag, and up to 90% of them don't even have a fucking criminal record. I mean, you're getting horror stories of a gay makeup artist who was sent there. That people are being sent there because they're Venezuelan and they have tattoos. One of them had a mom and dad tattoo. The other one had an autism awareness tattoo for his 15-year-old autistic brother. Like, this is straight up fascism, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even close. It is fucking terrifying. And it's, again, they could do it to anybody. Because think about it. If there's no due process, how do you prove you're a citizen? If they could just pick you up and ship you there, right? How can you prove you're a citizen? They could do it to you. They could do it to me. And then there's no recourse because we're already there. We're locked up. And then even if the Supreme Court says bring him back, they're like, we're not going to bring him back.
Yeah, I'm not going to front. Sometimes I don't drive with my driver's license, but it's a wrap now. I don't want to get sent back to like Poland or wherever my family came from. Boyd, so I wanted to go back because I feel like even with the TikTok thing, I feel like Trump is trying to like strong arm China, but everything that's cool, everything that's like needed is what he'll like bend the lines on, like how he just said the tariffs for electronics and cell phone are not going to be banned from China. It's almost like he's trying to play like this hardball, but everything that people need and want that's like a necessity is he's like, all right, we'll cave on that one. And it's going to get to a point where he's going to have to cave on everything.
But no, he flipped again though.
Oh, he did?
He flipped again. Yes, he flipped again and said like, no, there's no exemptions. What are you talking about? Because they had come out and said there's exemptions for electronics.
Yeah, I remember.
And then he was like, no, there's not exemptions. He was like, no, there's no exemptions. So at this point, we don't even fucking know. Like,
Yeah.
we don't even know. But the bottom line is we're cooked in the long run because now all of these countries are like, fuck the U.S.
Yeah.
We need to get away from the U.S. and make deals with each other. So now you're seeing Canada and Mexico are working with the EU, and China and these other countries are working. Vietnam is going to work with China. We made it so that everybody's running into the loving arms of China because we're totally unstable. We're totally chaotic. You can't trust a word we say. We don't stay true to our deals. We don't stay true to our treaties. And like, he ripped up his own trade deal with Canada. He'll rip up anything at any moment with anybody if he just feels like it. And so now this is the problem: is like the economy's going to tank, but also the dollar is going to tank with it.
Yeah.
Which means we're in for a world of hurt, dog. But yeah, they did temporarily. They were like, yeah, electronics, like we'll exempt electronics. But then he was like, no, we're not doing that. It's like nobody even knows what's happening. The other thing is right now, nobody's even collecting the tariffs. There was some sort of problem where they couldn't collect the tariffs. And so he was like, they're in Wednesday at midnight. We're putting them in at midnight. And then they weren't fucking in place anyway.
Like a department or someone that's actually taking the money that, like the extra money that you have to pay to import goods or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you need federal government employees who collect the tariffs.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm saying. Like, you hear
Elon
about...
fired everybody, so you don't have anybody to collect the tariffs.
That was like Jon Stewart was talking to someone about, like, they were trying to rebuild the infrastructure and roads and stuff like that, and they got to a point where it's like you had to apply for all these things and then eventually you can start building. I can't even imagine the process of like who's collecting this money and like how much corruption there would be with this tariffs of people not knowing what to do if like all this money did start suddenly coming in of people paying extra to like importing goods. It would be like who you have to learn how to do a job. You can't learn in like a day one person on like how to take in billions of dollars.
Yeah. And also the corruption is going to be Trump himself with the tariffs, right?
Yeah,
he's acting like a mafia boss where, yeah, I'll shave some points off your tariff, but you got to give me this amount of money, you know? Because he got away with everything else. Why the fuck wouldn't he try that too? You know?
Oh.
So it's just a gangster fascist government at this point. I've never seen anything like. I mean, this even makes George W. Bush look like a liberal. You know what I'm saying? With how bad this is. It's scary, dude. It really is scary. But if they could do this to all these innocent people and then like double down and triple down
with this guy. Where was he from? The president that came today, or
Bukele from El Salvador.
So was it like a setup meeting, or does he come and they're like cordial? Like was it as hostile as what's his name from
Zelensky? No. It was nothing like Zelensky.
Okay.
He was just visiting the U.S. because we just made a partnership with them and. They were sitting in the office together being like, yeah, we love locking up innocent people. Isn't that great? Yeah, that's great.
Oh, so the guy was like agreeing with him of like, yeah, you could send
he's the place we're sending these people. He has this prison called CCOT. And it is like super maximum security prison. They shave everybody's head. They live
so you
in
can be like any nationality and you're going to get sent there.
Yes, that's the deal.
Oh.
Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, made that deal with Bukele. And basically was like, look, we're going to send you people from here. And he was like, okay, for a small fee, I'll take them.
Wow.
And so we gave him millions of dollars. And now they started out by saying, oh, no, we're only going to send undocumented immigrants who are also violent criminals. That's what they said. But then we realized very quickly, up to 90% of them don't even have a fucking criminal record.
Oh, my gosh.
And then Trump says, we're going to send American citizens there, too.
That's insane. And then you fall into this category where it's like no one's ever gonna like look at your case unless you get like a Kim Kardashian or some celebrity to like be like, hey, they took Kyle, they took Corin, we need to fight against this. If you're just some regular Joe Schmo, like you're gonna be there with maybe 10% gang members and all these other people who are trying to like figure out their case and be like, what the fuck is going on? I need to get out of here.
We don't even know if the guy that the Supreme Court made the ruling on, his name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Mm-hmm. We don't even know if he's still alive.
Oh, my goodness.
This place is known for torture. It's known for slave labor. They forcibly shave everybody's head. And the other thing is, he was originally from El Salvador. He escaped El Salvador to escape the gang violence. Now you're sending him to a prison with El Salvador gangs, bro.
Yeah.
They literally are destroying this man's life at the same time they're destroying our Constitution.
This is the gay
And
barber?
no, this one's not the gay. See, there's
Oh.
different ones. This is not the gay barber. This is a dude who they picked up. I forget which state it was in, but it was at like some Home Depot parking lot or something. He was looking for work, and there were like a bunch of dudes there, and the cops came up and separated them out, and were asking them questions like, "Hey, if you give us information, then we'll let you go," or whatever. And one of the people who was there pointed at Kilmar Abrego Garcia and said, "That guy's like a gang member in MS-13 or something in New York, right?" Well, come to find out, he wasn't a gang member. The cops wrote down as evidence that he was a gang member that he was wearing Chicago Bulls attire.
That's crazy.
Come to find out, he's never had a criminal record ever, and he takes care of 2 special needs kids. They rounded this dude up and shipped him out. No hearing, no due process. Now he's over there, and even when the Supreme Court weighs in and says you got to facilitate his return, they're like, sort of fuck off. No, we're not doing that. So, like, this is it, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like, I love when people are like, we're almost in a constitutional crisis. Almost, bitch, it's been a constitutional crisis. It has been that. And then now, like, what's the Supreme Court going to do? Because they've been trying to, like, split the difference and give Trump some wins before they give him a loss. But now it's crystal clear. There is no appeasing this man. He is a fucking fascist. You give him an inch, he'll take a mile. So now you got to draw some real fucking lines. And what happens? The Supreme Court draws a line and then he fucking ignores it. Or is the Supreme Court going to try to save their own ass and be like, oh, we're going to carve out some legal exception for you so that when the next president comes in there, it'll still look like we have authority. Because we know you're not going to listen to us anyway, so we might as well give you some like legal cover so it looks like we still have control. I don't know what the fucking answer is, man, but this is really, 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 really bad. Did you see tourism in this country has fucking plummeted?
Really?
Nobody's visiting the United States anymore because they realize, bro, they're just rounding up people who aren't citizens, and soon it will be citizens, and they're shipping them to a fucking slave labor camp. Why would I go? All across people, the line for tourism from Europe went like this. It was like this before, and it just went straight down. Nobody's fucking coming here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to, like, unless you're into, like, UFC or something like that, there's nothing that's, like, glamorous here anymore. It's all, like, there's nothing you want to see. I mean, it surprises me a little bit because it's not like if you come on vacation, if they round you up, you might get, like, a free flight back to your country. Or you're going to end up at this like El Salvador spot.
Yeah, because they don't give a fuck. They've sent Venezuelans there, too. Like, they don't give a fuck. They're sending whoever the fuck they want there.
Yeah.
There was a story that came out yesterday or today. It was a 19-year-old with no criminal record, no tattoos, no anything to indicate anything. They admitted when they arrested this person, we got the wrong person. And then they go, ship him anyway. And they sent him to the El Salvador camp.
Oh, my goodness.
Bro, we are living through hell right now. This government, like, people used to say it back in 2017, like, oh, they're fascist. And at the time, it was like, maybe, but, you know, I don't know if there's enough there yet, right? Those people were 1,000% right. They were so right. They're just fascists. Like, there's no question anymore. It's so obvious. It's so clear.
Kind of feel bad for, I mean, like, El Salvador, their, like, tourism is probably horrible. I mean, like, I doubt anyone's going there anyway, but now with this, they're not getting anybody visiting that, like, country.
So actually, I'm not sure that that's the case with El Salvador, and I'll tell you why. Because before Bukele came into office, El Salvador was basically like a gangland cartel.
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, a lot
paradise.
of places are like that. I mean, like...
No, but this was bad. This was
okay.
like literally the murder capital of the world.
Oh, damn.
Like, the death rate there was higher than, like, the Iraq War at the peak of the Iraq War.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. No, it was really bad. But what Bukele did, because he's a fascist, he went in there.
Kind of sounds
basically
Italian, Bukele.
It's not. Basically, they just started rounding up anybody with tattoos. Because they said, look, tattoos mean gang members, means your ass is getting locked up.
Jeez.
So they rounded up everybody, sent them to this prison, right? But the other thing is, and this part just came out recently, we just learned about this recently, he cut a deal with one of the gangs against the other gangs. So in other words, he was like working on behalf of one gang and locking up the rival gang. And so what happened is the crime rate and the violence rate in El Salvador plummeted. Because now there's only one gang running the show and the other gang is now all locked up, right? But either way, there's no more shooting in the street, right?
Yeah.
And so it went from one of the worst places in the world in terms of the the crime rate to now it's like one of the lowest crime rates in the world. So it's possible that they're actually still getting people traveling there. More people going there for tourism than ever before. But at the end of the day, what we're doing working with them is fucking crazy, because here's the thing. Yeah, he made the street safer, but he literally took away everybody's rights in the process. Yeah. Like, the whole point about a right
and
is supposed to be that
like it's getting run by like one of the gangs.
Basically, I mean, they still have gangs operating there, but they're not rival gangs, so there's no shooting in the streets, basically. But like, to take away people's rights, the whole point of a right is that it's not a privilege, it's a right. It's supposed to be off the table. These are supposed to be like human rights. You can't take them away from anybody ever for any reason. Yeah. But they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
Imagine that here in this country, if they locked up everybody with tattoos. Like, if you had...
I mean, they're starting to do that shit right now. If you're if you're in this country and Venezuelan and you have tattoos, watch the fuck out, bro. Because they're literally... Bro, they have...
And they probably have no idea what Venezuelan is. It just looks like someone who's Hispanic. So, like, anybody can fall into the category.
That's exactly right. They have a minimum of 1,200 deportations that they have to do every day. ICE. This is what Trump gave. Trump gave them a quota. Said minimum 1,200 people a day.
A day?
A day. Now, guess what? There's not that many undocumented immigrant violent criminals in the country. We blew through those motherfuckers within the first week. So, yes, they're finding fucking anybody. They don't give a fuck, bro. They don't give a fuck who they get. Even when the media, every media report that comes out on Kilmar Abrego Garcia, on the other guy who was the gay makeup artist, on any of the innocent people, so many reports have come out. They're totally innocent. Here's their life story. Here's where they were working. Here's no crime, etc. They don't give a fuck. They look at it and they're like, we don't care. And then when the Supreme Court says you got to try to bring it back, they go, we don't give a fuck. We're not doing that. Like,
it's almost what like are we on talking a smaller about? Scale. And I've told this story before, but when I got a speeding ticket in Texas and I was not speeding.
I remember this.
It's like you have no case when there's no like like it's like if a cops and their police department have a quota to hit like 30 tickets per day or whatever, and they just want to give out a ticket, it's your word against theirs. And in some small ass town, that court is going to rule with the police department. So it's almost like this is that on a larger scale, but now like with people's lives going to like prison. Like, I had to pay a fine, but I was furious when I got my ticket because I was like, I was not speeding. Yep. But imagine like getting deported and being like, I'm a regular ass dude.
It's crazy. I had a similar thing to you with the traffic thing where I once got a ticket for allegedly driving while talking on my cell phone, but I wasn't on my cell phone. Yep. I was in my old Chevy Blazer. I was driving with my left hand and my right hand. I was leaning against the rest on the side with my right hand, and I was like singing along to a song like this. And dude pulled me over and insisted I was on my cell phone and gave me a ticket. And I went, just as a matter of principle, I went to court and I had to show my phone records to show I wasn't on the phone. But it was like he was so insistent that I was and I wasn't, and I was like, this is so bizarre. Yeah. That like, you in your mind as a kid, you think like, what do you mean the job of the cop is to like uphold the law and uphold justice? And this dude literally doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to give me this ticket right now. Just like you, when it was like a speed trap in this small, what was it, Texas town, was it?
Small yep. Mm-hmm.
And Corin was like going the speed limit, and he still got a ticket just because what this cop does is he sits there and he looks for out-of-state license plates to drive through Texas, and he'll just pull over everybody who's out of state and just give them a ticket.
I can't fight it. I'm not going back to that little town. There's probably like 12 people there. The judge probably knows all the cops. Like it's a wrap. But I don't know if you've ever tried to look into another car, just one, if you're just standing on the street or if you're driving past them. You can't see shit in a car. So for a cop to be like so far away and think they see you on your cell phone or like that you're not wearing your seatbelt, it's like they're just making that shit up.
You're making it up. And this is so, like you said, this is so much worse because it's literally like destroying people's lives. And this is the whole reason. This is why we're taught like democracy matters, civil rights matter, human rights matter. We're taught for the exact moments like this where it's like, if the government is just asserting that you're guilty and taking away all of your freedom, they are the criminals.
Yeah.
It's not you. They are the criminals.
Yeah.
And I just feel so bad for all these people, man, who are like, our Constitution is gone, and so many innocent people are getting destroyed, and that's why I have zero fucking respect for any of the people who are playing footsies with Trump right now, like Bill Maher. You saw Bill Maher went to go eat with Trump. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's on my list too. I wanted to ask you about that because Bill Maher like swears he's from Jersey and that he's like, this whatever. And one of my friends, our friend Tim, you know him from high school, he commented on my thing and was basically just like, it's almost like Bill has never met or heard the concept of like a con man before.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Tim's 100% right. That's what I was saying. It's like, bro, they're playing you for a fool.
And they played him like a fiddle because he went on his show and basically gave him free airtime of like, this guy is great. He was great to me. Of course he's going to be great to you. He's inviting you to the White House. You're going to have a banging ass meal. He's going to show you around on some like awesome tour. And then Bill has to flex and be like, I flew back that night, like to kind of like flex that he had a private jet. Like, it's like, it was so frustrating watching that because literally Trump's probably sitting there watching like, we got him. He did exactly what we wanted him to do.
And what does he say in the thing? He's like, sort of fuck you if you disagree with me and you think I shouldn't have talked to him. Now, notice how he talks to his left-wing critics who say, hey, man, you're making a mistake. Hey, man, you're fucking up. Hey, man, this isn't right. For those people, it's nothing but scorn and derision and fuck off.
Yep.
But when he's talking about Trump, it's all the charity in the world.
Yep.
It's, oh, interpersonally, he's nice and he's charming and he's not crazy and I was surprised and we talked about this and we talked about that. And it's like, this is exactly the problem, Bill. You have endless charity for these fucking assholes over here. But then when you have good faith critics on your left, you say, fuck off. I don't need your opinion. Like one dude on his show brought this up to Bill and was like, bro, they played you, dog.
Oh, really?
And Bill was like, yeah, Bill was like, I don't need you to be patronizing to me and you're the problem with the left. And it's like, oh my God. He's become like a parody of himself.
Yeah.
This is a dude who supported Bernie in 2016. And then in 2020, he supported Amy Klobuchar, which was fucking crazy and proved he changed. And then now, in that monologue talking about Trump, he literally said, like, I'm a centrist-minded person. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's the problem, is I'm above the fray, I'm in the middle, I see good points on both sides. And in this moment, when we're literally staring down the barrel at straight-up fucking fascism, that's your reaction? That's your fucking reaction. So you can talk to the guy who's saying, we're going to steal Greenland. We're going to steal Panama. We're going to steal Gaza. We're going to fucking bomb Yemen. We're going to bomb Somalia. We're going to ship everybody off to a slave labor camp in El Salvador. We're going to destroy the Constitution. We're going to do a trade war and destroy our economy. That guy, you look at him and you're like, I can agree and disagree at points. But when someone on your left is like, hey, dog, they're using you to get like positive headlines out of it and to make it look like, look, even Bill Maher's cool with Trump, so you shouldn't disagree with Trump. You point that out and he flips out at you and acts like you're the crazy person. Yeah. God, I fucking hate him. He's so washed, bro. Something happens when these people get over the age of like 45 or 50. Something happens where they just totally lose touch. He's also got $50 quadrillion. That helps too.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, to your point, he's out of touch. I think he obviously, it helps his ratings if he goes and meets with Trump and talks about it, But my thing is like, he's talking to Trump, and I think it was like they looked at a portrait of Reagan maybe or something like that, and he was like, Reaganomics, and he was like, Trump looked at me and kind of agreed. And I was like, and then on a lot of topics, he would ask my opinion. I'm like, because he doesn't know any of this shit. Like he's asking you stuff because like you're talking about it. It's like when I ask you a question, like you know the answer. So like Trump is smart enough to ask like, hey, what's your opinion on this? And Maher's like, he listened to me. And I'm like, because he doesn't know anything else on the shit. Like,
the strategy is just to charm him. The strategy is just to be like, hey, appear relatively normal. And then what'll happen is he'll go out of there and say, actually, Trump was a nice guy. And then there'll be fucking 10,000 headlines in the media of like, Bill Maher says Trump is actually a nice guy.
Yep.
And by the way, that's exactly what happened. I covered the whole shit. And that's exactly what fucking happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you not see that they played you for a fucking fool?
Yeah.
How do you not see that?
And like he thinks he's funny saying that like the Bill Clinton blowjob room was now like a merch room, and like he repeated that twice and literally is saying to the audience, like, I can tell when there's a fake laugh, and there's a guy like clearly fake laughing, and he just has no idea that the guy like I mean I noticed this. We went and saw him like when we were in high school or something. I think it was like Mohegan Sun or something like that. And he had his notes on like a music stand, and I was like, this guy just seems like out of touch, and that's probably 20 years ago. Now it's like it's so much worse. And then this just put the like, what is it, the cherry on top, where I was just like,
Yep.
he's so far gone from understanding like what reality is, that this, like, just look at the person that connected you was Kid Rock. Like, that's who is like gonna, that's your like mediator, like person connector, that alone. And then like Dana White's in the photo. Like, it's just such a random crew that one was like, I can't believe he went out there and then literally for like 2 minutes or whatever is like sucking him off.
And I saw this shift coming for a while because I actually met Bill when Crystal was on the show.
Oh,
I got to meet him. And in that conversation, and this was a while ago, everybody should go look up when, maybe it was 2021 or something. I don't know. It was somewhere around there. Crystal was on the show.
She freaked it too, and then he
did a great job.
Invited back.
Because she destroyed Bill.
Yeah.
But so he, in the midst of me meeting him and us having a conversation and like people around having a conversation, he started talking at some point about trans people. And he was like, I'm not for chopping off dicks. He said something like that. And I remember looking back at it now, I look at it and I'm like, oh, you could already sort of see the beginning of the shift, because that's usually how it starts with people like Bill, is they find like one issue that they disagree with the left on, and it was trans people for him.
Yep.
And then over time, what you do is you start hyper-focusing on the issues where you disagree with the left, even if you only have like 2 or 3 issues where you disagree with the left, and you disagree with the right on like 25 issues, right? But you start hyper-focusing on the shit that you disagree with the left on, and then all of a sudden, that's the only thing you seem passionate about, whereas all the stuff with the right, it's more like charitable, more like, hey, let's find areas of agreement, et cetera, et cetera. That's how you get, like, all these people who call themselves centrists, but they suck off Trump and MAGA 24/7, like, you're just right-wingers.
Yep.
Like, I get it that you label yourself something different. I get that. But there's a difference between what you label yourself and, like, what you create more of in the world. And if he keeps going the path he's going, people who watch his show will more and more and more be right-wingers. They won't be left-wingers. And he will be creating more right-wingers. And that's the thing that a lot of people in the business that I do, they either don't realize this or don't care. But so many people describe themselves like, oh, I'm a liberal, or oh, I'm a lefty, like Tim Pool and Russell Brand and Jimmy Dore, people like that. But then everything they say makes people right-wing. And 95% of their content is shitting on Democrats way more than Republicans.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really don't give a fuck what you call yourself if you are cultivating an audience of right-wingers and you are pushing people further and further to the right on a daily basis. And that's the dishonesty of that drives me crazy. Because it's like, at least fucking own it, right? And because why would somebody watch you where they can get the real straight dope from like Sean Hannity or Ben Shapiro, who are conservative? They say they're conservative and they make conservative arguments. At least they're intellectually on point with what their philosophy is. If you're over here like, I'm a liberal or I'm a lefty, but here's 17 segments shitting on the left and here's me sucking off Donald Trump, it's like, you're sort of a hack. You're sort of a hack and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they'll also will at some point realize that they're gonna lose a lot of their audience. You know, like,
but yeah, because you need to bring in a new audience now. It's got to be more right wingers and more right wingers and more right wingers. And so then
exactly,
it's audience capture. Then at some point they realize, oh, my bread is buttered when I say this shit, and then they keep saying that shit.
Yeah.
And the whole point is you lose like your core of what you were, and you lose the issues that drove you in the first place.
I kind of feel like, I mean, like, and this is just because I don't listen to anymore, but I feel like that's kind of happened with Rogan. I feel like
absolutely,
he can't have as many like listeners and
no, he doesn't,
subscribers or whatever, as like when he was actually like common sense, like, hey, I have this person on, this works, this doesn't. Like when he was rocking with Bernie, it was like he must have been at his peak because like everyone was tapped in, and because he like made sense. But now it's like fully right wing, where it's like he can't have the same audience he does from the past. And Bill Maher too.
He doesn't.
He lost a big audience, and now he's probably going to lose even more with this whole Trump shit. Because if people are smart and they're not, his audience is probably millennials, so they probably are smart enough to be like, this guy's a hack now. Like he's Trump's buddy. I'm not watching that shit anymore. You know, like, and he'll lose a lot of his viewers or whatever.
Did you see that Rogan was dethroned as the #1 podcast?
No, I didn't see that.
Yes, so not only was he dethroned, but you ready for this? The podcast that beat him is called the Midas Touch podcast. I don't know if you've heard of these guys.
No, isn't that tires or some shit?
No. That's Meineke. I think it's tires.
Midas
I think
does
it's
something.
Meineke.
Midas is like a car repair shit, I think.
I think Meineke is the shit you're thinking of. Maybe Midas is something. Anyway.
Yeah.
The Midas Touch people.
Yeah, what do they do?
They're literally just an anti-Trump podcast. That's it. They cover the news, and they just every day it's like, here's the bullshit Trump did, here's the bullshit Trump did. Every day. That's what it is. And now they are number one, and they're like,
I never even heard of that shit, but like,
bro,
kudos
they
to them.
shot way above Joe. Like at first it was like they won by a little bit, but then they just grew the lead and grew the lead and grew the lead. And to your point, yeah, Joe is washed, bro. Like there's nothing sadder than when he starts talking about Elon or when he has Elon on the show. Like, bro, get a room.
Yeah.
Get a room.
Yeah.
Like, this is disgusting. And by the way, like you saw, I said, I just covered this. Literally all of Joe's comedian podcast friends, every one of them
Shit on Elon.
hates Elon,
Yeah.
and they're shitting on him relentlessly because, at least with them in this instance, they're putting comedians above like some personal relationship, right? And Joe has a personal relationship with Elon where he texts him and he thinks he's in the club and he's cool and stuff. And it's like, how are you missing that this dude is one of the craziest motherfuckers in the world? He's high on ketamine all the fucking time. He's got no friends. He's super fucking awkward. He's destroying our government. He bought Donald Trump and the Republican Party for $270 million. How do you not realize this shit?
Yeah.
And then you got people like Tim Dillon and Andrew Schultz, and I have many disagreements with these guys on a lot of things. But they're like, yeah, that was a fucking Nazi salute. Elon did a Nazi salute, whereas Rogan was like, bro, no, it's not. He was saying his heart goes out to the crowd, bro. It's like, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
What are your thoughts on just like Trump at the UFC and all of these? Like, I saw Shaq like kind of like buddy with him, dapping him up, showing love. There was a tight end for the Cleveland Browns, David Njoku, like showing him love. Is that? I mean, that's obviously just because he's in power. Like, what? I feel like if I had access to sit front row at UFC and Trump walked past me, I'm not gonna front. I'd probably he made it like he shook my hand. I'm not gonna like shun the guy, you know, but like, is there a way to kind of like shake his hand without looking buddy? Do you are you mad at those people? Like, should they just not, like, should Shaq not show him any love, or are you okay with him kind of like being like, what's up, bro? You're the president.
So Shaq's a little bit of a lost cause
Yeah.
because he was also hanging out with RFK Jr.
Oh yeah,
and some other dude.
Aaron Rodgers,
so like,
all those
I think he's just kind of a Republican, if I'm being honest.
yeah.
So I think he's a
got
lost
all
cause.
these business ventures and probably like
All
hangs
this
around
money-
all them. Yeah,
all this money, all these corporate connections. He gets so much money through advertisements and shit like that. He's connected to that Republican world. I think Shaq is just a Republican.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of money. He wants lower taxes for himself. But to your question, no, I'm at the point now. In the first term, I would have answered differently.
Mhm.
But in this term, zero sympathy, zero grace for anybody who's sitting near that dude, shaking his hand. Like, no, I don't think people get, like, I literally think these people are Nazis. Like, they're straight up Nazis. Straight up.
yeah.
He came into office, he never said shit about Greenland on the campaign trail or Panama on the campaign trail. He came into office and he was like, we're going to take Greenland. And we're going to militarily take back Panama. And then when people in Greenland were like, we don't want to be, they did a poll and like over 90% of the country was like, we don't want to be part of the United States. He's like, yeah, but we're going to take you. He sent J.D. Vance there to fucking lecture them.
Bro,
And he now, like, seriously, he is serious about all of this. And when I see that, I'm like, imagine this was any other country in the world that repeatedly is like, we're going to steal this country. And they're like, we don't want you. And no, we're going to take it.
Yeah.
We have the biggest military in the world. It's ours. We're going to take it. This is what Vladimir Putin did in Ukraine, and everybody in the world flipped out, rightly so, because they're like, what the fuck? You're a thug. You're a gangster. You're a criminal. You're just going to steal territory. You're just going to go in and start bombing shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Now, Trump does it, and everybody feels like, oh, that's just Trump being Trump. Like, no, motherfucker. He's a fucking Nazi. Did it not give the game away when he started sending people to this slave labor camp with no hearing? Like, that's Nazi shit, bro.
Yeah. Well, so I know the UFC is kind of like his audience, but like he gets crazy love at those events, you know, like.
Yeah, it's become, it's a thing now. It's a right-wing thing now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all the fighters are right-wing.
Ted
all
Cruz
the fucking,
was there. Ted Cruz was at the thing.
He's like the hanger-on.
Yeah,
You know?
he's
He's
just-
like, oh, can I come with you, Donald? And I'm like, fine, whatever. You know?
The one thing that was funny, and like, this is why just optically, and I know everything he does, like kind of with politics, is horrible, and he's ruining tons of people's lives. He's losing a lot of jobs. But optically, the way he operates, if I'm an outsider and if I've got all this money and like no worries in the world, the way he just like operates, like how he says hi to RFK, and then his wife is right there to like shake his hand, and he just knows to like kind of dead her and make her look silly and then walk past. Like, it's obviously horrible, but like it's something that if I'm one of those UFC fans, I'm like, oh look, bro, he deaded her, walked past her, he's such a G, man. Like, everything he seems to do like works for that base, you know? Like he plays that role of like I don't give a fuck really well.
Well, I think he gives the most fucks, which is why he acts like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like literally nobody is more transactional than him.
Yeah.
He is in terms of like politicians, there is nobody who is more about pay to play corruption, bribery. There's nobody who's more about like, hey dog, say good shit about me and I'll say good shit about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And like,
or if you rock with me, I'll rock with you. If you don't, I'm not rocking with you.
And it makes sense from a political perspective. Like this is how he enforces message discipline and stuff.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, what people need to realize is like there is no core. Like he's not fighting for the American people. He's not trying to improve anybody's life. And in fact, he uses his power to do horrific things that are absolutely mortifying to every reasonable person. So I get your point. And the UFC, like, he does this shit on purpose. Like, he goes to the UFC knowing these are my people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yep.
It's 90% in the audience are right-leaning.
Yep.
He probably doesn't even fucking care about the fights or what's going on.
No.
He's all about the show. And the show, just like we called it with he's going to do a military parade. He's now doing a fucking military parade. Yeah. He's all about the show. He's all about the optics.
It's also crazy that he gets mad love at those UFC things, and Elon tries to go, and nobody fucks with him at all.
Look, it's the vibes, right? Like Trump is the vibes guy, and Elon is the anti-vibes guy.
Yeah.
Like he just something about him is deeply uncharismatic, deeply unlikable. He's so fucking awkward, right? He ruined everything by just opening his mouth. He could have went down. Elon Musk could have died an old man with an approval rating that was like plus 35 percentage points. Now his shit is like minus 15 because he decided to open his mouth, buy the government, and destroy every good part of the government.
Yeah.
Like Social Security and the anti-scam police and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's all about the vibes. But the thing with Trump that frustrates me the most is that, like, at some point the reality has to catch up to the vibes. You know what I'm saying? And, like, we're at the point now. I feel like we're getting to that point now.
It's getting close.
Where the reality is starting to crash down on people. Like, oh shit, prices are massively going up. Oh shit, millions of people just lost their jobs. Oh shit, he's launching another massive war. And I think we're close to it because it's just the show has gone on for too long. You know what I'm saying? Like, the show's gone on for too long.
Yeah.
He's deeply unhinged. He has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
There'll definitely be a time
immensely
where it changes.
corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel it coming now. Like, he's already underwater on the economy a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only area where he's above water, which is crazy to even say at this point, but is immigration. He's +4 on immigration. He's underwater on every other issue.
But like, people think he's actually deporting a lot of illegal immigrants.
I think that's probably how people are thinking. But, you know, at a certain point now, it's at a fever pitch with people pointing out that these are innocent people you're shipping off to a slave camp. Like, I think that's going to catch up too. I think he's going to be underwater on that too. If it's not the case, then bro, just we're cooked. We're barbecue chicken. Fucking put a fork in us. We are donezo. If even after all this, people are like, yeah, the fucking guy from TV, I like him, then we're just, it's over. It's over.
Speaking of like propaganda, I saw like there was that news reporter that was talking about his physical, and then I actually just saw something today that was like saying he's like 6'2" and 235 pounds or something like that, and they did a comparison with like a Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver, AJ Brown. Yeah. They're like, here's a comparison of what that actually looks like, and he was like there's no way that his physical came back and he's in tip-top, you know, physical peak form. Like, he can go play wide receiver for the Eagles right now. Like, I
think they said he was 225.
Yeah, something like that.
It was like 6'3", 225, which is fucking wild, bro.
Yeah.
I'm 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. There is no way he's only 25 pounds bigger than... There is literally no chance. They just lie. Like, they just lie. Did you see he's making all his people wear a little Trump pin? Like, it's a picture of his face in all gold.
No, I haven't.
Instead of wearing American flag pins, they're wearing Trump pins. Did you see that?
No.
This is straight, like,
me.
It's so terrifying, man. Like, all this shit is... He just lies so much. Like, he claims he won a fucking golf tournament the other week.
Yeah, I feel like he wins. Like he won the Masters, right? Didn't he beat Rory? We went 52 minutes, and I want to ask you about that because I know people sometimes don't like golf or golf talk, but I feel like this golf Masters yesterday was one kind of for the ages. And even if you don't like golf, it was one that was like, this one was memorable because, like, obviously,
my God.
a Masters without Tiger loses its luster a little bit. But if there's anybody that can kind of like pick up that torch a little bit and ride that momentum for views, for like kind of whatever, it's Rory. And the way he did it yesterday, like, I know we were texting with our boy Bobby, who was actually there. But like, what was that like for you to kind of just watch all of the golf over the weekend and then even like the sudden death playoff?
Bro, it was crazy. What? I've never seen a more up and down final round in my life.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Rory's leading by 2 at the beginning of the day. Oh, shit. Now Bryson DeChambeau is leading. And oh, my God. Now fucking Rory is leading again by 4. Oh, nope. That's all gone. Now it's tied at the lead at the top between Justin Rose and
he was like a dark horse, like just coming from way behind, like 10.
Ludwig Oberg came from fucking nowhere, and randomly he was like tied for the lead for a hole.
Yeah, and he's
you're
got
like,
that weird like little circle over his A, which like is not even a letter.
That's why it's spelled Aberg, but you pronounce it Oberg. I guess the thing over the A makes it sound like a O.
That's what I don't get. It's
know.
like, if you're gonna have a name, like just have some regular ass letters. Don't make me try and figure out how to spell your shit.
Yeah, I don't know where he's from. Somewhere in Scandinavia. It's got to be some shit they do there.
Yeah.
I never heard of that shit either. But it was incredible, bro. I mean, it was. I almost emotionally I couldn't take it. Like, I was watching it. At some points I was like, I can't even like watch this, bro. This is so crazy.
So my stepbrother, we were doing a Passover Seder, and my stepbrother had $5 on Justin Rose, like from the beginning of the tournament, and it got down to, we were at the 16th hole, and I wish I recorded it, and it's easy to say it after the fact, but I said Rory's gonna birdie 17 and then bogey 18 or something, whatever he did, and then I said he's gonna birdie the sudden death and win the shit, and he was getting his like cash outs because it was $5 to win 500, and I was like, take it, man, because Justin Rose is gonna tie him. Everything I called to a T. He would have had $250 if he cashed out, but lost everything because Rory run.
He wrote it.
He wrote it, and I was like, "There's no way that Rory is gonna lose this sudden death." There's too much storylines, momentum, but it is crazy because I mean, like, you play golf and it's all mental. I don't know what he must have been feeling. I knew on 18 he was probably nervous as shit for that putt, and that's why I was like, he's gonna miss this, but he's gonna reset himself on the sudden death and come back and hit a butter shot and then birdie. Like,
bro,
what do you think his mindset was, missing that and then having to reset, see your family walking off, and then having to go play 18 again?
We got so spoiled growing up in the Tiger era.
Yeah.
Because once Tiger got his nose in front even a little bit on a Friday or a Saturday, if he had a 1-stroke lead on a Friday or a Saturday, we're all watching that going, oh, it's over.
Yep.
It's over. He's going to turn the 1 shot into 2 shots. He might end up winning by 12. He might end up winning by only 4, but he's going to win. He's the best front runner in history. He had a 1-stroke lead, and you felt like that shit is solid. Put it in the bank. It's a Rapskis. But there's no other Tiger Woods. There's only the Tiger Woods. And so even when the other greats, Rory had a 4-stroke lead at one point in the middle of the round. That shit was gone like that, bro.
Yeah.
We blinked and it's like, where'd it go? Oh my God, he double bogeyed a par 5. Where the fuck did that go? So to your question, as I was watching, I literally like couldn't watch. It was so hard to watch because it was just too much drama. And on 18, so when he hit it in the fairway, I was like, it's probably over because he's only got a gap wedge in. All he's got to do is knock it on the green and 2-putt, and it's a wrap. When he hit that gap wedge in the bunker, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And then he hits a great bunker shot to like 4 feet, maybe 5 feet at most. Totally misses the putt.
Yeah.
And so when I'm watching that, I'm more in a state of shock. I can't put myself in his mind at that point because the amount of pressure he had to deal with was immeasurable. Like, I would not have been able to deal with that pressure. 99% of golfers would not have been able to deal with that pressure. But then in the playoff, to get up there, lace a driver down the middle, hit a gap wedge to fucking 3 feet and make the putt. And by the way, we got to talk too. Shout out to Justin Rose, man. I feel bad for him because in 2017 he made it to a playoff at the Masters with Sergio Garcia, and he lost the playoff in 2017.
Damn.
And then now in 2025, same thing, gets to a playoff at the Masters.
He's getting older too, right?
I want to say he's like 45.
Yeah, he's up there,
right? So in 5 years or maybe even less, he'll be he could play the Champions Tour, like the senior circuit.
Yeah,
but I feel so bad for him. Shout out to him, man. What an amazing round he had. What an amazing fight back. He led the tournament on the second day, and then he fell back on the third day, and then he charged all the way back on the final day. But yeah, seeing Rory win, that makes me happy because Rory's one of the few good guys in the golf world. Like, Bryson DeChambeau went to Live Golf, which is the Saudi blood money league. He's done videos with Donald Trump. Like, I really got no love for the Live guys.
It was like salty afterwards. I was going to ask you because they asked him like, hey, did you say anything
to
Rory? And he was like, he wouldn't talk to me today. It's like, bro, it's the Sunday of the Masters. Like, let the dude rock. If he doesn't want to talk with you, like, fuck off. It's not about you.
Tiger literally said 0 words to anybody he's ever played a final round at any major with. Literally 0.
Yeah.
He never said shit. And Rory does the same thing, and you're like fucking taking it personally. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, Bryson just beat Rory at the U.S. Open when Rory missed a short putt on 18. Why would he want to talk to you? What do you want him to fucking shits and giggles with you all day and chuckle and joke about shit? Like, what the fuck are you talking? What's wrong with you? And I felt at the beginning of the day, I had a bad feeling that Rory was going to lose because, you know, he's been so close so many times over this past 11 years, and he just hasn't gotten it across the finish line. And Bryson just won the U.S. Open, and Bryson looked so confident. But then after Bryson stumbled a little bit after the first, like, 4 or 5 holes, all of a sudden, all that energy just went away. You could tell he was tight. He didn't have that same, like, light energy, high-fiving people and shit after he started making bogeys.
I saw a clip. Well, first off, Rory McIlroy's 35 years old. I'm 36. And I was talking to Molly, and she was like, he doesn't look 35. She thought he looked older. And I was like, he kind of looks like 35. Like, he was, like, walking off the green. So, like, you've just played a full round of golf. Like, he looks drained. He's not, like, his hair is not good. But you told me that he went pro at like 16, almost like some Luka Doncic shit, where like he was like a
really
prodigy
young.
starting so young. I saw a clip, and I don't know if you saw this. He was on some talk show at like 9 years old, and he's chipping. He used to say that he would chip into like his mom's washing machine
dryer
or
washer,
something like that. And I can't even like. It made me think like, do you think some kids like at 9 years old just have some crazy talent ability? And mix that with like really focusing on a craft that you love, and eventually you could win the Masters. Like, I can't even fathom being so good because there's so many kids that play college golf, D1, at all these top programs that like don't even sniff the leaderboard, don't even sniff becoming a professional golfer. And the fact that like Rory and all these other guys are like constantly there, like you know, going into the Masters, he's going to be one of the guys at the end. Just puts them in a different stratosphere of like how good they are, which is hard to like even like think, you know. So like since you're 9 years old, at what point do you think a kid is like just born with that, or are they like they harness that?
Honestly, I think it's both things. So I think a lot of it is natural ability, but then on top of that, you got to be super hardworking and super focused and want it more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, that's the perfect mix. And when you look at Michael Jordan, when you look at LeBron James, when you look at Kobe Bryant, when you look at Tiger Woods, when you look at Rory, they have the perfect mix of natural God-given ability plus hard work and focus and just wanting it more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And Rory got lucky with his age in a sense because he grew up just like we did. He grew up perfectly in the Tiger era. So we are the perfect age to see from the beginning to now Tiger's whole career. And the whole thing, you couldn't fucking script it. It's so crazy. The amount of wins he's had, how dominant he was, the number of times he came back from fucking total oblivion, whether it's needing a back surgery or needing multiple knee surgeries or needing another back surgery
or a golf club through
getting a divorce or golf club through the window. Like, all of that shit, he kept coming back and just winning. You're like, how the fuck is this even possible? And so he saw it just like we did. And to him, that was his inspiration. And so he knew, shit, If this is the shit I got to try to compete with, then that's why he spent 7 hours a day chipping into his mom's fucking washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Because he's like, this is what I want to do with my time. And, you know, there's this great commercial with him, like, hitting golf balls at the driving range when it's fucking torrential rain outside, and, like, just he's out there grinding away. And so to answer your question, it's definitely both things. Only hard work can only get you so far.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could bust your ass, but if you don't have at least some natural ability, then you're sort of fucksville.
Yep.
But, you know, also same thing, natural talent can only get you so far. You look at a guy like John Daly. John Daly was a fucking legend, coasted only off of natural ability. He'll tell you he never practiced. He never fucking practiced. He didn't care. He would show up to the first tee fucking hungover from the night before, drink like 7 Diet Cokes and smoke 2 packs of cigarettes, and he would shoot like 668 or some shit.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why he has 2 majors and Rory has 5 and Tiger has 15, right? But, you know, if John Daly had, and Tiger even said this to John Daly, he was like, if you had my work ethic, you would be the best golfer of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know if he literally said the best golfer of all time, but, like,
it'd be up there.
You would have, like, over 10 majors. You would be ridiculous. But by the way, we got to pat ourselves on the back because you asked me who I thought would win the Masters, and I sort of called it. I said, I think it's either going to be Rory or Scottie Scheffler.
It's gangster. Yeah, I mean, and that's a tough thing to do. Like I said, there's so many golfers to, like, just predict who's going to have a great weekend. So to call that, kudos. But one thing I wanted to ask you, they have a rule at the Masters where there's no cell phones. So you can't bring your phone out to the match or whatever, record anything. Do you think that would be a good policy for other sporting events?
No, I think the Masters is special.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said on our last show, like, the Masters is the only place where they can come up with rules, and I'm like, bet, I like those rules.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're really strict, but, like, in a good way. It's, like, one of the only places where, like, there are rules, you're expected to act a certain way, and, like, the shit matters.
Yep.
And so that's why everything there is perfect.
Yeah.
The grass is fucking perfect. The bunkers are fucking perfect. The tournament runs so smoothly. Their social media game and their
They do a good
like
job.
streaming game is on fucking point. I was double streaming it. I was watching it on TV, the live broadcast, and I was watching the 15th and 16th hole live streaming it, watching all the groups come through.
Yeah.
They just do it so much better than everybody else. But to your point, I don't think others can get away with it. Right?
Like,
Like,
they
if you
definitely
tell
can't
me,
get away with it. Yeah. But, like,
if you tell me, oh, you can go watch this NBA game, but you can't bring your phone in, a lot of people are going to be like, then I'm not going to go to the NBA game, you know?
yeah. But I almost feel like, see, I almost am starting to sway on the, like, I kind of like that because then it's like everyone's on the same playing field, you know? Like, it's like, we'll let you take one picture in front of the shit. So if you want to post on social media that you're here, do your thing. But once you're inside here, but also we've been at a comedy show where they've taken phones and you've gotten your phone in. And I kind of was like, it's pointless. Like, I'm not going to record this shit. Like, let me just have my phone. Like, what if some emergency or some shit happened? Like, what if something happened and I'll have my phone? You know, like,
And, like, the phone is not bothering anybody at a basketball game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it genuinely is different for golf because with golf, all the players want total quiet when they're hitting.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, if you're behind them and you still have your sound on and a ring goes off.
But how do you feel about that, too? Because it's like you're shooting a free throw, and a free throw is supposed to be a time where you're, like, uncontested. You have the whole shit to yourself, but the crowd is going bananas. And someone, I think, was like, how come they could do that in basketball where they could wild out? You can make any sound you want. You could put up pictures of, like, your dick or something in the background to try to distract you. But golf, where you got nobody guarding you, you have to have total silence. Like,
here's the thing, though. Ready? When there's a lot of noise, that's basically the same thing as there being no noise.
yeah.
If
That's
everybody is making noise, then the noise level is consistent.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know everybody's being loud. I can still focus because everybody's being loud.
True.
The thing that throws people off is if it's dead silent and then in the middle of your move,
Someone yell Baba Booey.
you hear some loud shit. If it's dead quiet and then it gets loud, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
And so even like for basketball games, some stadiums hand out like these little fucking noodle things that
those
you
little
hit together
knockers.
while they're trying to make free throws
Yeah.
to try to throw them off.
Yep.
And it's like it's just part of the game, right? Like that, like basketball evolved in its own way, and then golf and the Masters evolved in its own way.
Yeah.
And like I just think there's a place for both of them.
Yeah.
I know that when I go to a basketball game, especially last time I went, it was Wizards versus Knicks. Jalen Brunson dropped 55 skis,
Yeah, it was a
bro. I
gangsta
was
game.
there for that game. Went to overtime, dropped 55, dope ass game, and I was pretty close. It was the closest I had ever
Yeah, you were
sit at a
sitting, like,
basketball
by
game.
Carl Anthony Towns' Dad, right?
We
Yeah.
were right next to Karl Anthony Towns' dad,
Yeah.
bro.
He's a cool
But it
ass
was
dude,
cool
I've heard.
because I would take out my phone from time to time and I would just want to record just to be like, look how fucking close I am. This is so cool.
Yep.
And so, like, that experience was made better by having my cell phone because I was present 98% of the time, but 2% of the time I want to take my phone out and just record a little something, and it was buttery. But for the Masters, yeah, I guess it's a little different. I don't mind the no phone rule, but then again, if they were to switch that rule up, like, I wouldn't be mad because then you get to go to the Masters and record a video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild.
We're texting the whole time, and then one of our friends who always responds, like, wasn't responding, but he has like a PGA card. And so I instantaneously was like, oh, he's definitely there. He doesn't have his phone.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes all the time. He's such a lucky bastard. I've never been.
Yeah, that's...
You want to talk about, like, you know how they say religious experience for Muslims is you got to make the pilgrimage to Mecca, right? They have, like, shit, like, you got to do this if you're in this group, right? The pilgrimage to Mecca for golfers is you got to go to the Masters. I have never been to the Masters, and apparently it's a fucking bitch to get in. It is like, you got to go, you got to sign your name up. There's like a wait list. They tell you if you made the cut.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like, and I know, and it's like, that kills me because I want to go so bad, and I just know I'm never going to get in because if those motherfuckers Google me and they see what I'm about, they'll be like, we don't want this fucking communist in this bitch, you know?
I feel like at some point through Bobby, or there'll be a way eventually, I feel like you could probably buy a ticket or something that you'll be there at some point. But it is tough.
I need to be
for like normal people to go to like shit that they actually want to be at. Like if the Knicks were in the NBA Finals, a ticket would probably be like $20,000 to go to that shit.
Forget it. It's not, to get in is too expensive to even get in.
And that's where it's like, I think a lot of people have said even for like the Super Bowl, I've been to some Super Bowls and it doesn't feel like a real football game because the people who are in there are not genuine, like fans. It's people that have tons of money that can go to these games, whereas like you go to a regular season game week 8 and it's snowing outside, you're going to have a lot more fun. There's going to be a lot more electricity in the stadium because those fans have been like, they're sitting in the cold in 10 degrees, like.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
I've been to a football game before. Not my thing.
What, sitting outside at a football game?
I've been to a football game and I was even there when it wasn't even cold outside, but I don't know. The two sports I never really gravitated to. Well, actually, when I was a kid, I liked football for a brief amount of time. But basically, football and baseball are the ones I've never...
Yeah, baseball could be kind of whack because you sit there until... Like, nothing pops off until at least the 7th or 8th inning. And until then, that shit could be, like, mad boring.
Yeah, I'm not judging people who love baseball or love football. I mean, football is like an American religion, basically.
Yeah.
But for me, those are the two sports. And in my adult life, at some point, I've loved all the other sports. I loved hockey. Hockey's still fun to watch, like a motherfucker. Going to a hockey game is fun as fuck. And they get horrible ratings on TV. They get way worse than the NBA.
Yeah, I think baseball is like the super worst right now.
Oh, is it?
Hockey might
baseball
be back up. Yeah, baseball's like gone down because ESPN.
Oh shit!
I think just cut them from their network. Like they're not going to be showing baseball games next season.
Oh shit! But don't baseball players make bank? I think they make a ridiculous amount of money.
Crazy amount of money. I don't know what that stems from. I guess.
I know there's no salary cap or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no salary cap, but yeah, it's surprising because you would think it would work with like TV rights deals, and if they're losing their ESPN shit, then you'd think contracts would go down. Yeah, I don't know how that works. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and I saw this, and I was curious your thoughts. And I'm gonna put my like tin foil cap on, but the Katy Perry and Gayle King or whatever going to space, I think that shit was fake.
I didn't even see this.
Yeah, it was like
no, I didn't.
It was like an all women's crew just went on Jeff Bezos' like rocket ship thing.
Oh, Blue Origin. Yeah. Blue Origin. Yeah.
It was like just today or yesterday, and it was like Katy Perry was one of the people. There was some rocket scientists. Gayle King from CBS was one of the ladies, and I think they went to outer space for like 11 minutes and then came back. And to me, I don't know. Like they showed video of some shit going down on something and like landing back on space. I find it hard to believe that that's a real thing. And like Jeff Bezos like met the spacecraft when it came back down and like was at the door when they opened it up. And they said like Katy Perry was singing "What a Wonderful Life" or some shit like on the plane on the thing. If you didn't see it, you'll see it when this is over. But like, I'm I'm kind
You're
of skeptical
skeptical.
on that
You
shit
don't know if it's real.
actually going down because
Yeah, because what if the shit just blew up and they were
that's
reporting
my
it on live
point.
TV?
That's my point. Is like we've seen it with the underwater ocean shit. There's too many like
Yeah, the submersible.
that
Yeah.
thing. I feel like there was something else that was like a super exclusive thing that somebody did and like died on, but it's too risky for like Gail King and Katy Perry to like really actually be like, yeah, I'll do that shit. I'll go to outer space. And astronauts train for like years and years and years and like
Yeah,
have to
that's
like
true.
know how to do shit in
Yeah.
space. Like you
But
telling me
also,
you put a
like,
whole random crew of women together and they could just go to outer space through this Blue Origin shit?
fuck them, because really what this was just an attempt to do a giant ad for Jeff Bezos and his fucking shitty space company.
100. And
You know?
there's one video. I think TMZ actually had it, but it hasn't been passed around on X a lot. But he was walking around where the thing landed back on like Earth, and he trips and like face plants in the dirt, like right outside the door. But there haven't been too many videos, so he must have like been working overtime to get that shit erased from the
Oh
internet.
my god. You know what drives me crazy too, bro, is that this used to be like space travel shit used to be NASA did that.
Yeah.
Like NASA did that.
Now it's like
And
Honda
now it's
Accords are
like,
going up there and shit.
yeah, you got fucking Elon Musk with his shitty company that explodes a rocket every other week. You got fucking Jeff Bezos with this bullshit. And yeah, doing that shit, it was like some live TV ass recording of them going. It's like, what the fuck
And
are
like,
we
yeah,
talking
what's the
about?
purpose of this shit? Like, can't he spend his time and money on something else that is like
It's
more
exactly
impactful?
right, bro. That's exactly like we got people going bankrupt from medical bills in this country. Like, and you're fucking sending these assholes to space for 7 minutes for what? Like, for what? What's the point of this? What are we doing here? You could fucking cure poverty if you wanted. You could cure, homelessness. You could cure hunger. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. This country's, we're just so cooked, bro. Everything's
I'm
so
good. Yeah.
fucking, we're just so cooked. Like, I've never felt like it's more over than I do these days. I really do. It's so
There's so
tough
much.
to watch the
I
news
didn't
every
even know
day.
it was happening, but then someone sent me that shit, and I was just like, why do I care about Katy Perry going to fucking space for 11 minutes?
Yeah, and that's some shit too. Like, you just told me that these women went to space, and I'm like, well, I didn't even hear about this.
Yeah.
The way that we live now is like so different from when we grew up. If some shit happened, it would be like everybody's watching that shit.
Yep.
And now it's like
No one gives a fuck.
somebody went to space and I didn't fucking hear about it. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And like, we don't live on the same planet anymore. Like, we're all in our different bubbles, our TikTok bubble, our YouTube bubble, whatever the fuck.
I want to ask you about this too, because I thought he was like at the tail end of his career, but he's kind of like reviving himself. But is Bernie coming back on the scene with AOC? Like, is it a possibility that he's going to be like some vice president to her president shit? Like, he's pulled
No.
up to Coachella?
So he was asked this question, and he basically was like, look, dog, I'm old as fuck.
I'm not going to front though. Like, he did that town hall with Anderson Cooper, and I looked at him and I was like, unless that was old. Was that recent?
No, that's recent.
Okay.
That just
I
happened.
was like,
yeah.
yo,
Mhm.
Bernie looks kind of young. Like, he looks kind of like fresh up there.
First of all, he's looked old since he was 50.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Let's not kid ourselves. Like, this motherfucker, when we were born, this motherfucker already had a full head of white hair.
That's true.
You know, like,
That's true.
in our whole lives, he's never had a brown hair on his head. What are we talking about?
That's true.
But, like, to answer your question, I don't think he's going to run. I don't. I think he's setting up AOC so that if AOC wants to run, she's now prime position.
Yeah.
Because she's doing, they're doing this tour together, and Bernie ran a bunch of times. He's got the name recognition. He's literally the most popular politician in America, according to the polls. And I think he's just blessing AOC, like, look, you're the one who's going to pick up my mantle, and you're the one who's going to run with it. So I think it's more likely that, and it's that mixed with he just sees what Trump is doing and what's going on, and he's like, apparently, get this, Corin, apparently he waited like a month or something, waiting to see, are there any other Democrats who are going to take the mantle and start fighting back against this shit? And nobody fucking came out to say, I'm going to do a tour, I'm going to fight him this way, or I'm going to fight him that way. So he was like, I guess I got to do a fucking anti-oligarchy tour. So I think it's a mix of genuinely wanting to fight back when he sees nobody else is fighting back the right way, mixed with, now I'm going to bless AOC and give her basically like my mantle moving forward, that like you're going to be the one who's the heir apparent to what I've built. So I think that's what it is. And God bless him, man. Like, it people don't realize how big of a deal it is that They are putting up rock star numbers.
Yeah.
In April of a non-election
Well, that's
year.
what I was going to ask you. Like, is there any significance of like the timing of the tour right now?
Bro, the significance of it is that nobody does anything political at this time ever, ever, ever.
Yeah.
But people are so fired up and they're so like disturbed by what Trump is doing that everybody's out there like, oh, thank God you guys are doing this. Thank God you guys are spitting facts and fighting back against it. And so
it's
the thing that's noteworthy about
coverage because like it's like it almost has to. There's so much like popularity and buzz around it that even if they try to dead it and be like, oh no, nothing's happening over there, it's like, no, you have to cover this because like there's noise happening.
And let me tell you something. Forget if Bernie was 20 years younger.
Yeah,
even if Bernie was 10 years younger, he would win in a cakewalk.
I know.
I mean, it would be like we're talking FDR type numbers, Ronald Reagan type numbers.
Yeah.
We're talking about like he'll win over 40 states against a Republican. If that was the case, it would be too big to rig with Bernie. Like, because now people get it now. It took Trump's second term for people to really get it. But in the second term now, they're realizing, oh my God, like what have we done? We basically turned the country over to fucking robber baron billionaires who are robbing everybody blind and fascist freaks who are destroying the Constitution and warmongering everywhere. I think everybody's sort of awake now to what's going on, and it's just a shame that he's so old, you know?
I know. So he pulled up to Coachella. Do you think do you think that actually makes a difference and impacts some of those kids there, or they see Bernie on stage and it's kind of just like, that's cool? But like, do you think pulling up to Coachella actually does anything for like voting down the line?
Remember what we were just talking about with Trump and UFC?
Yeah.
It's exactly that. You know, it's
Bernie's
that.
just gonna start pulling up to every dope ass concert. He's gonna be at like J. Cole,
Charlie XCX concert. No, I mean, look, and the thing about Bernie too is that like when he does it, it doesn't feel like he's pandering.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like he's trying to spread his message, and this is a crowd that might be receptive, and so we decided to go to this place. You know, like it doesn't come across as cringe. It doesn't come across as try hard. It's just like he's trying to spread the good word, and like this is where he went.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you ever seen anything out of the ordinary? To your point, that looks like some pandering type of shit that comes to mind. I know I've seen like Mitt Romney pull up to like a Utah Jazz game and was trying to like trying to cheer them on one time, and I was just like, you just look so out of place, dude.
Mitt Romney once did, I think it was like a Telemundo interview, an interview with some Spanish TV channel, and he put darker makeup on his skin to try to look like he had tanner skin. I remember that. I remember Michael Dukakis, this was a long time ago, when he ran for president, he did this weird photo shoot where he was like in a tank, driving a tank, and that like destroyed his fucking political ambitions. You had Howard Dean do his weird yell that somehow tanked his campaign, where he was like, "Nah!"
Yeah.
That killed him for some reason.
Ugh.
I don't know. There's like a lot of instances like that where it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Well, Mitt Romney tied his dog to the roof of his car in like a little dog cage and drove somewhere. Right? Yeah. There's a lot of situations like that where Bush famously with his fool me once, shame on you.
He fucked up the whole thing.
If you fool me, can't get fooled again.
I'm not gonna front. When I try to say some quotes sometimes too, I like those shits jumble up in my head completely.
Bro, take it from a professional talker.
Yeah, you're
don't
good,
ever
bro.
list shit. No. Don't ever list shit.
Oh.
Because if you're trying to make a point and you're like, all right, look, let me break this down for you. Number 1, da-da-da-da-da. Number 2, da-da-da-da-da. Number 3, da-da-da. If you start listing it, by the time you get to like 3 or 4, you're like, fuck, what was that point again? You can't list it. You just have to say the shit and let it flow. Because if you start to list it, your brain starts to sputter. And it's just like, wait. You're going to lose the third point, bro. Stop.
Yep.
I've seen Biden did that shit in the debates.
Oh, well,
Biden's like, all right, Jack, first of all.
He doesn't even list shit. He already forgets what the fuck he's talking about.
I know. Oh, it was so bad when he was running. But he would try to list shit, and I'd be like, no, don't fucking list it. What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
You're 1,000 years old, bro. I can't even remember my list now. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? He randomly started. Remember when he said, like, we finally beat Medicaid? He was talking to something else, about something else, and then his brain sputtered out, and he was like, we finally beat Medicaid. It's like, what? What the fuck was that?
So is AOC back to like her old school Bernie ways? Like, is she talking like how Bernie, like how OG Bernie talked? Because didn't she originally started with him and then kind of like started going more center, but is she back more left now because Bernie's like with her? Like, is she saying all the right things?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, look, a lot has changed in the Trump era, and the number one most important thing right now is like, will you fight these motherfuckers? Right? Like that's the bottom. Right now, that's the bottom line. The most important thing is, are you going to fight and say no on everything? And she's definitely leading the way with that. She's definitely fighting hard. And when she like went to the center, it was more so like, I'm going to try to make peace with Pelosi and make peace with the establishment in the sense that I don't want them to nuke me. Like, I don't want them to fucking try to primary me and take me out of power. I don't want to lose committee seats so I don't get to impact legislation as much. And now, yeah, she's it's sort of her moment in a sense because, yeah, she's taken up Bernie's mantle. And look, at the same time, like, also, it really is, you really do need to start making an argument for, like, woke shit. Where back in the day, it felt like wokeness was always viewed as, like, oh my god, that's a negative thing. Wokeness was used as a pejorative. And AOC would, like, make woke arguments to, and, like, it just wasn't landing then. Now, in this moment, with everything they're doing, it's like, yeah, nah, we could afford to, like, fight on the battlefield of wokeness, too. I want you fighting against these people on every front. Whether it's wokeness shit, or whether it's economic shit, or healthcare shit, or foreign policy shit. And so, yeah, to answer your question, her speeches now, they've evolved. I think they sound a lot more like Bernie.
Okay, good.
And I think she's positioned good to be a leader moving forward. And we'll take anybody who's going to fight.
And is she? I feel like Gavin Newsom is probably going to try and run, right? Like, would she have to go up against him? And like,
but he fucked himself.
What, with his podcast?
Gavin Newsom fucked himself. Yeah, the podcast, honestly.
Oh, for real?
Him. Yeah, because so he launched the podcast, and it could have been good. It could have been good, right? He could have either had on interesting people and talked to them, or he could have had on people he disagrees with and fight with them. Like, that's what he brought on right wingers and started agreeing with them on everything. He brought on Charlie Kirk and told him, how impressive his career is. He brought on Steve Bannon and did a softball interview with him. Like, he brought on Michael Savage, who's one of the most insane far-right radio hosts in the country, and was, like, nice to him. And, like, he misread the Trump moment as, like, okay, these guys won. I guess we got to get along with them. I guess we got to try to find a way to compromise in this era. That's how he thought of it. But he totally misread the room, because within, like, 2 weeks of Trump getting elected, it became super clear to everybody that, like, holy shit, this guy's fucking crazy. And you got to fight him every step of the way. There's no working with them. They are fascists. They are lunatics. And he just misread the room, and he went more to the center, and he wasn't fighting, whereas somebody like AOC fought. And so he sort of fucked himself. Pete Buttigieg is a weird case. He definitely wants to run. But, like, where the fuck are you right now? Like, where are you? Nobody sees. Like, same with Kamala. Nobody knows who the fuck she is. Every now and then you'll hear a story how she went to go give a speech to a Australian real estate group or something. You're like, what the fuck are you?
She's just collecting money.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry, but if you're not here in this moment when all the chips are down and everybody's fighting for their goddamn lives, like, why the fuck should anybody trust you?
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing, is they don't realize you are shattering trust at the same time that Bernie and AOC are gaining trust. All these people who used to not like AOC and Bernie are now the biggest AOC and Bernie fans.
Yeah.
Because they're going, shit, you're the only ones actually fighting Trump. You now see, never in my life did I think you'd see, like, endless positive coverage of Bernie Sanders and AOC on MSNBC. But now you see that because they're the only ones who are fighting.
Yeah, but hopefully it's not too fucking late. I wish they did that back when he was actually running.
We might live in a different timeline now if that was the case, right? If the Bernie people didn't if the Hillary people didn't shiv Bernie, that might be the case. But now it's different now, and finally everybody's come around, and we'll take our wins, bro.
Does Bernie still have the same guy? Was it Ro Khanna that you knew or something like that? Was that like his campaign manager or some shit?
No, Ro Khanna's a congressman.
Oh, I thought there was someone that worked with Bernie that you knew.
Oh, Faz Shakir.
Oh,
you're thinking about Faz Shakir.
Is he still?
He's the guy. He was Bernie's campaign manager. Yeah.
Is he still like with him?
Yeah, he still works with him.
Oh.
He does other things too, but he still works with him. Faz is he's a real cool dude. That's the guy who, as everybody knows, or at least my audience knows, I set up the Bernie Rogan interview in whatever year that was.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Faz, and I'm the one who set it up. And he's a really cool dude, really nice guy. I think ran for DNC chair, but he got in really late, so he didn't win. And now he's touring the country with Bernie and AOC at the moment.
Good, yeah. I had one question that I saw someone ask. What? Oh well, first off, I just saw this that JD Vance broke. He had Ohio State at the White House?
Did you see the video?
Like, he's just so goofy. He's so goofy.
Why do I feel like every president or vice president has like one hilariously awkward flub like that in their time in office? You know, I feel like that happens all the time.
But like, what? It's just, he's the perfect person for that to happen to. And then like he tried to like tweet that and then like say some comment on it, like, oh, I wanted the trophy to stay in Ohio or something. Like, no, everything you do is awkward. Everything you do like gets fucked up. Like,
I hate that guy so much.
Take the L. So yeah, that was funny. But one person asked, we'll end on this, advice for a political science major in college.
Advice for a political science major. I mean, first I would ask them, are they planning on going to law school? Because most people who get a political science degree end up going to law school and becoming lawyers.
Oh, shit.
So they go to like even higher education.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I got the degree and then I was like, oh, fuck. I just graduated into a recession. What the fuck do I do now? And I went to go work at the car dealership. And then eventually I stopped that and I ended up doing my show. But I guess I would say, yeah, my advice in general to college kids is like, study the thing that you're genuinely interested in and see where it takes you, right? And like, if you're genuinely interested in political science over everything else, great. Then do the political science degree. I guess you could also maybe get involved in political campaigns, right? Maybe get involved in local government, maybe state government. So yeah, my advice would be stay true to what you're interested in. That's the advice I would give to all kids is like, if you're about to go to college or whatever you're interested in is what you need to study. It can't feel like work anymore.
Yeah.
By the time you get to college, your work shouldn't feel like work. It should feel like you're learning shit you're genuinely interested in. And even if that's only one topic that makes you feel that way, do that topic.
Good ass advice. I had a bag of Doritos. It's a new flavor. It was like sriracha. I don't know if you've seen them, but it's like a gold ass bag. And they weren't bad. It was kind of like eating like sweet and sour chicken in a Dorito.
I've never had sriracha sauce because I always assumed it was like a little too spicy for me.
Yeah, it is a little spicy. That was the thing. And I never even knew sriracha sauce was a thing. Like, what do you put sriracha sauce on?
I don't know, but my spice tolerance is weird. Sometimes I could handle a little kick, sometimes I can't.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. On a scale of 1 to 10, I could handle like a 4 maybe at most.
I'm the same exact way.
Oh, for real?
But some days, like, I'll have something and I'm like, oh, that's hot. But I could manage it. So it's like, yeah, it's hit or miss. Those, I ate them. And then like towards the end, I was like, this is a little spicy for me right now.
Yeah, no, I'm the exact same.
But
sometimes I can handle it. Sometimes I die.
I was pumping my gas and literally like a little cartoon came up and it was like, try these chips. We have them inside. And I kind of was like, I'm going to try these shits. So I went inside and it got me off the gas station shit.
I'm telling you that like food fucking commercials were made for us.
Yep.
Because like I watch it and I'm like, yep, okay, I'm in.
Everything. And like, I'm trying to eat healthy. But Taco Bell just keeps spewing out shit, man. I just had like a steak burrito the other day, and that shit was like, their steak was kind of on point. Fuck. And they put like little crispy shits in there. I don't like their nacho cheese at Taco Bell, so like that shit kind of fucks up a good like burrito sometimes. But I have to say no nacho cheese.
I love the Corin lifestyle of like, so you'll eat like a bunch of fast food, but then you're also like going to the sauna.
Yeah, I'm trying to balance.
You got the healthy part. You got the healthy part, and then you got the totally unhealthy part, and then it like balances out where you're just like even keel, you know?
My boy texted me because I went to IHOP with my dad, and he like sent me the video and was like, "Yo, dude, you got to start eating healthier." And I was like, "I want everybody to subscribe to my channel, but I need you to unsubscribe to my shit. Like, stop. Like, I fuck with you because like you keep it real because you realize that like I'll eat unhealthy, but then I'll try to go to the sauna and the gym and kind of like counteract that shit." One of my other boys will always text me my unhealthy shit and just keep talking about it. And I'm like, get off my page.
Yeah. And the other thing is like, bro, nobody eats worse than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker is damn near 80 years old, fat, and still like full energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you look at it and you're like, maybe everything we think we know is fake. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe all the things that we're told, oh, you got to eat this way, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it's like, do we?
Yep.
Do we?
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying being unhealthy is good. That's not the point that I'm making. The point I'm making is I really don't know if I know shit about nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had to guess, yeah, okay, eat some fruits, eat some vegetables, eat some protein, like, try to keep it nice and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like, am I sure that that's the fucking way to, like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the right thing to do is. I don't, remember Trump had that idea that, like, the way our bodies work is like a battery. And so the best way to live long is to save up as much energy as possible, which is basically like an argument of like be as lazy as possible and then you'll live the longest.
I like that argument.
That's what I said too. I was like, damn, I kind of wish that was true, but I know it's not true.
But then he also said to drink fucking like chlorine or
bleach,
something.
yeah,
Bleach
he said like inject bleach. He's like, maybe we can inject the bleach. Maybe we can give it a cleansing, sort of like a cleansing.
Oh,
that was when COVID hit. He's like, maybe we could do like a cleaning. We could do inside like a cleaning.
the lady who does his press secretary, like I saw a clip of them like praying before she went out, and I was like, this shit is just comedy at this point, man.
Fuck these people. Fuck them so hard, bro. These are the worst people in the country. This is what I've been trying to tell people, is that, and I'm not happy about this, but I think it's true. Like, evil is real, bro. Like, evil is real, and these motherfuckers are evil. Like, they really are evil. Like, if you look at the shit they're doing, it's like, you don't even think this is good. You even know this is fucked up,
Yeah.
you know?
That guy Stephen Miller needs to get punched in his face. The way he was like kind of defending the 9/0 ruling and like talking to the reporter of like, you wouldn't want him to live next to you. Like, I could just tell by the way he was talking that his argument was he knew he was wrong, so he had to be more like aggressive in how he was like saying it to the reporter. And I was just like, you already are showing us that your argument is a loser. It's a dud. And Rubio turned around at one point when he was like 9-0, and Rubio was about to be like, dog, that wasn't for us. And then Trump was like, that was for us, right? And Rubio was like, oh, wow, they fucking flipped that shit around too.
Oh, it's so evil. It's so bad. Everything is so bad, man. By the way, everybody needs to do themselves a favor. Look up a picture of Stephen Miller. That's who Corin's talking about.
Yeah.
And then look up a picture of Goebbels, which was Hitler's like propaganda minister.
Is it look?
Bro, it's like his grandfather or his great grandfather. Dead ass. They look fucking, it is spitting fucking image, dog. And he is a Nazi too. Like, he acts like a fucking Nazi. So it's like, oh my God, it's like history is fucking repeating itself.
Yeah, it is. Last thing. Well, you lost power the other day. Did you end up getting it back right away?
Oh my God, this was terrible. So I think it was Friday, right? Was it Friday? I think it was Friday.
Yeah. Friday or Saturday?
Yeah,
Maybe Saturday.
I think it was Friday.
It could have been Friday.
It's one or the other. Anyway, so I'm watching the Masters, and I go with Crystal to pick up the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I've been watching the Masters all day. I'll take a little break. I'll go with Crystal to pick up the kids. So we go to pick up the kids. We come back. And as soon as I sit down with my double screens going, got the broadcast, got the stream up, boom.
Everything.
Bro, and tell me how, at that point, it like was just drizzling outside.
Oh.
Literally just drizzling. Like, it had rained all day, but it was just drizzling out. Like, it was nothing. There was no wind. There was no nothing. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And Crystal was like, yeah, if there's a lot of grain, it could like soak the ground and then the roots could start coming up and a tree could fall or whatever. And I'm like, motherfucker. So I sit around maybe 5 minutes. And I look at Crystal and I'm like, I'm going to your mom's house. Like, I'm going to your mom's house so I could watch the Masters.
Yeah, especially if you
like,
just got in the butter zone.
And she was like, okay, no problem. Like, texted her mom, whatever. So ready? So I get all my shit. I got my computer. I got my little bag with me. Hop in the truck. Start driving to... And then what happens? As I'm leaving our road, I make one turn. I make a right, and I start going around the bend. Tell me how I start seeing like 2 or 3 cars sitting there, and I'm like, what? I pull up a little more. Dog, tell me how a tree fell on the power line like 1,000 yards from our house, and the road was blocked off, so I couldn't fucking go anywhere, dog. So I had to turn my ass back around, go back home.
That must have been a diesel ass tree.
It's kind of crazy because like the tree wasn't crazy big, but it hit the wire, and you could see the smoke coming off from the wire.
Oh shit!
And the wire was still hanging, and the tree was still on top of it. But I was looking at it like, this is gonna take fucking forever because the shit is like when they fix it, the tree is actually gonna fall in the road, and the road's gonna be blocked, and they got to cut up the tree. And I'm like, I don't even know how long this is gonna take. So I go back, I'm sitting, I try to stream the Masters with just my data.
Yeah.
And that shit worked for, I want to say for like 2 minutes. It was coming in crystal clear, and I was like, oh shit, we are good money. And then shit the bed and refused to start working again. And then I want to say it took maybe, I want to say it was like maybe 2 hours, and then it popped back on.
Oh, wow. They got it back in 2 hours.
God.
I feel like that would have been one where like that's like a whole, your shit's out for the night.
I was worrying that it would be at least like 5 hours, but they were able to get it back in 2.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, thank God it's back. And I was, nothing ever feels better than after you lose power and it comes back.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor, guys. Just turn on the TV after your power goes out and just sit there and enjoy TV in all of its glory.
Just the fucking lights. I feel like when that shit goes out and you got to start finding flashlights and you feel like you're in 1872 and literally you can't like turn, like you turn the stove on and just try to like boil some water. Like there's such a drastic shift of like being in modern technology than when your power goes out into like literally being like a pilgrim. And being like,
I know, bro.
We don't even know what we are doing here anymore.
I remember when Hurricane Sandy hit New York?
Yeah.
We lost power for like a week and a half.
Yeah, that shit, yeah.
And I remember when the power finally came back on, I'm not kidding, Corin, I sat there and went through every TV channel I had, and I watched a little bit of every channel. I was watching like the hunting channel, the fishing channel, the fucking little log cabin in the woods channel, like, and I was just sitting there like, this is so amazing that I get to watch this shit right now. I'm so thankful that I could sit here and watch somebody fucking knitting on the Home Shopping Network right now, because I just felt this overwhelming sense of like appreciation for television at that moment.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's
like,
so,
damn, I went without this.
It's so fragile too, because it's like I'll look outside and literally it's just like in front of my house, all the wires just like connected. I'm like, all it takes is one little shit to knock one of those over, and it's a wrap.
That's it
for this whole like area.
That's it. And it feels like there's so many times where like we've lost power a lot in recent years, and it makes me feel like we're still like some fucking underdeveloped ass country. 100%. This is not some shit, like it shouldn't be like a medium-sized thunderstorm that leads to the power going out for 4 hours. Yeah. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. You know? So one of the things I think we're going to get a generator. I'm done with power outages. Yeah,
we have a generator that like can last, Molly knows better, maybe 8 hours or maybe more than that. But it was like a diesel one.
So will it light the whole house up? Will it do the whole house?
I don't know if it'll do the whole house. I think it'll do like the refrigerator, like it'll do a couple like major shits. Like, and it's got outlets, you could charge phones on it and stuff like that. But it's not like some shit that will turn the whole house on. That is something that like would be dope.
I think we're gonna do that, bro.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna ball out. I think we're gonna open the wallet up and say fuck it, and just try to get the one that when the power goes out, it's like the power didn't even go out type shit. Yeah. You know, because like I'm done. I'm over it. We've been through like 4 or 5 different power outages within the last 2 years, and it's like, really, do I have to live like this? Fuck this shit,
bro. It was like I don't know, 60 degrees, and then we were driving upstate, and literally it was like the snowiest, coldest morning, and I was like, what season are we in right now? There was like cars. I saw a car like flipped over on the highway. It was wild. This was just 2 days ago. Oh my God. And then the next day, today was beautiful again.
Bro, it's so crazy. This time of year in particular, like March and April, from where you are to where I am is fucking night and day.
Yeah. Well, yours is nice for, right?
You would give anything to be in my neck of the woods around this time of year.
Yeah.
Because as it's fucking 35 degrees by you, 42 degrees by you, we're starting to get the 65-degree bangers here.
Perfect weather.
Yeah, and it's always like the change of season is the biggest time. Like towards the end of fall, it's still dope here. Mm-hmm. It's still great here. Mm-hmm. And towards the beginning of spring, it's great here. Those are the times where you see a huge difference between New York, DC, New Jersey, DC type shit. But in the heart of the winter and in the heart of the summer, it's almost the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's all I got. I got my WNBA sweatshirt on. It's the WNBA draft today. There's an age-old question of like, could you drop 15 or 10 points in a WNBA game? I still think
hell no, I couldn't. I could not do that.
You could probably score at least 6 to 8, maybe.
I don't think so, because I play like power forward
Yeah, and
type
some of those
position,
women are big.
and I'm 6 feet, and there's gonna be some 6'4" woman guarding me,
Yeah.
just swatting my layups away like a
I
motherfucker.
guess. Yeah, maybe.
But I would literally have to old school like Charles Barkley,
Back
Shaq
someone
style
down.
post up.
Yeah.
I'd have to back them down and use all my weight, like
Yeah.
I'd have to fucking just round mound of Kyle bound and just fucking damn it on him,
Oh, all right. This was dope. Thank you, brother.
Of course, man.
We'll rock out next week, hopefully, and keep it going. Keep the train on the tracks.
Yup, sounds good. Love you guys. Peace.